All right, good afternoon. I'd like to call this special meeting of the West Haymarket JPA to order. To my right is Regent Tim Clare. I'm Mayor Leary Gaylor Baird, and this is a public meeting that is subject to the State Open Meetings Act, a copy of which is posted in the back of our chambers. As we proceed, the clerk, Casey, will call each item on the agenda, and we will invite a staff member to come up and present on that item. Afterwards, we will take public comment, and I would just remind anyone who wants to speak that each speaker is allowed to speak for 5 minutes, and if you could please state your name and address prior to speaking, we'd be grateful. And with that, Casey, would you please call the first item?
Approval of the minutes from the JPA meeting held January 25th, 2024.
Move approval.
Second. Moved by Claire, second by me. Can you call the roll, please?
Claire,
Yes.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes.
Beckius.
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. The next item is bill number WH24-18, resolution to approve a contract between the West Haymarket JPA and Douglas Food Stores, Douglas Equipment, for a kitchen combo oven and steamer for the Pinnacle Bank Arena for a total amount not to exceed $47,687.38 pursuant to bid number 24-43.
Good afternoon, Chris Connolly, City Law Department. This is part of the process of replacing equipment as the building is getting to be 10 years old and things are starting to age out. So this was the lowest bid. If there's any questions about the specifics of the equipment in and of itself, Tim Savona is here, but otherwise we would just ask for approval.
Thank you, Chris. Do you have any questions for Chris?
No questions.
Okay. All right, thank you. At this time, we take public comment on this item.
Jane Kinsey with Watchdogs. I see this was an out-of-state company that was chosen in West Virginia. And so how many bids were made for this?
I don't have the answer to that, but they were the lowest bid. I know that.
Okay. In the past, it hasn't always been the lowest bid that was taken. So at this time, you're saying it was the lowest bid?
I don't know of any time where we didn't take the lowest bid, or if we did, it was for some special reason.
Yes, it was back when Tom Lorenz was the director and the wooden floor, and he wanted one that was not the lowest bid.
I'm confident that this was the lowest bid.
Okay. So, this is probably over $3 million that's been put into the arena in the last few months for repairs or something new. Is this something new?
No, this is a replacement.
It is, okay. Did this company have it before?
I don't know.
I don't know. I do know we got 5 or 6 bids.
I don't know if this is the same company that was in there before. We don't know that. However, there were 5 or 6 bids that were part of this.
So at least we have some transparency that the occupation tax has paid for this, and we appreciate that as the public because we don't always get transparency. Sometimes things have to be investigated before we can get the true answers. It's a good thing we have the occupation tax. If we didn't, the whole system might be under duress financially. And it's great that the feds have participated in this also. However, the federal government is in 13 trillion debt, and their ability to bond rating has been lowered. So it's Lincoln benefits from another entity that's in trouble financially. What is this particular machine supposed to do?
Well, it's kitchen equipment in general, but an oven is included with this kitchen set.
Okay.
It's a commercial kitchen operation.
It's part of the kitchen. And it's being replaced
Yes.
from the original.
Yes.
So what, in 10 years
It's been 10 years since the first one was put in, yes.
was put in there? Okay. We would hope that as taxpayers, some of this money would not be spent at this time, and the staff would be asked to look to
1 minute.
being more conservative about that, their requests.
Okay, would anyone else like to comment on this item? Seeing none, I'd ask for Casey to call the roll. Or a motion
A
on this
motion,
item,
please?
sorry.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Claire, seconded by Beckius. Any further discussion among the JPA members?
No.
Okay. Please call the roll.
Claire,
Yes.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes.
Beckius.
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. The next item is Bill Number WH24-19, Resolution to approve an agreement between West Haymarket Joint Public Agency and Lincoln Youth Complex for additional contribution to Ball Fields project to grant additional funds to the Lincoln Youth Complex to construct the Lincoln Youth Complex sports fields in an amount not to exceed $4,500,000.
Good afternoon again. You know, back in 2006, there were some very bright and very capable people in this town that came up with this wonderful vision for a baseball and softball complex, and some of them are here today. And you know, they worked very hard to gain support from the community and local officials back then. This group of visionaries later became known as Lincoln Youth Complex as a nonprofit corporation. When the West Haymarket Joint Public Agency was formed in 2010, one of the things that the board expressed its support for was this project. Of course, it had other things to worry about at the time, and so it moved forward with building Pinnacle Bank Arena. But there has always been this ongoing support, and the site for the complex now is in the JPA footprint area and has been from nearly the beginning. And so, and then in 2022, this board did contribute $4.5 million at that time to help the project. But following that contribution, OIC began to experience the same kind of inflation problems that the rest of the country has seen, and it's resulted in significant increases in construction costs and created a funding gap. And so for the last couple of months, we've been working with LYC to provide further funding for the project, and we're pleased to bring this agreement to you today. The agreement calls for a contribution of an additional $4.5 million from the JPA in 3 annual installments of $1.5 million each, starting in 2026 and ending in 2028. LYC will provide a 50% match, and they will also create a reserve fund by 2029 in the amount of $2 million to fund replacement of the synthetic turf. The JPA has seen robust occupation tax revenue, and sound financial management is in a good position to make this contribution. All right, now for the good stuff.
Chris,
Oh,
could you
that
just
was pretty
check
good.
that your mic is on? I'm not, maybe it's just not close, the mic. Is it on?
It seems to indicate that it's on.
Okay, great.
For the record, that was pretty good stuff.
So here is a site plan for the ball fields, and some of the things may be difficult to read in terms of the terms there at the bottom in the legend. but this is what it looks like. There will be 5 youth fields for baseball and softball, 1 championship baseball field and 1 championship softball field for use by Nebraska Wesleyan, but others will be able to use it as well. And then Homer's Heroes Field, and this will be for children with physical and intellectual disabilities. Construction is expected to be completed in the spring of 2025. And with that, I would ask if you have any questions. I'll be happy to try and answer them.
Any questions from the board? Tim, go ahead.
I don't have any questions, but as a dad who had kids that played baseball, and I did have a daughter that played softball briefly, this is truly a long time coming. Like you were given history, I was involved in this from the very start, and so there's lots of people to thank, and not the least of which is Sandhills Global and other private donors who contributed financially to this. I think the Lincoln Youth Complex should be thanked, especially Brad Carell, Rich Clausen, Joel Peterson, the Lincoln Chamber, Charlie Colon, and others who were involved to really bring this project together. I'd like to also thank our colleagues who were here and participated in part of the vision that you were talking about, because I think, you know, again, this was not an idea that somebody came up with a few years ago and said, we got to build a baseball complex. This was something that from the inception of the JPA, where the footprint goes out to First and Cornhusker, this was the vision. And it went back to the vision of even when we were voting, when Nick Cusick was passing out his green cards to get approval of the arena vote. This was part of the process. And so the colleagues who came before us, including Dan Marvin, that always had this on the radar. And this is a great project that I think is going to bring lots to Lincoln, not only a competitive baseball facility, but from a revenue standpoint and people coming to the city and renting our hotels, eating at our restaurants, all of which contributes back to the occupation tax. This will be a great project for Lincoln, and it is much needed as far as having competitive venues to play. I still find it unconscionable that the USSSA baseball state series championship, we play that in Council Bluffs because there's no fields to play baseball here in Nebraska. So I hope to get some of those fields used for our state championship venues, and we can have that in Lincoln as well, or in Nebraska at least. Last thing I'll probably say, you know, this is great for you know, I wish my kids could have played there because they all played baseball, but now it's for my grandkids, and so I hope that yes, and I mean softball too. I don't mean.
Thank you.
But the last thing I'll say is, you know, let's play ball.
Okay. Tom, you're on the line. We can come back to you or if you want, or I might call public comment first, unless you have something you want to say right now or ask any questions of Chris.
No questions.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. We would entertain public comment on this item.
Jane Kinsey with Watchdogs. It's always amazing how when public officials want to convince the public that what they're doing is in the best interest of the community, the mantra always is, oh, it's going to bring so much money into this community and it will pay for itself or more. You know, after a while, people turn that off. Maybe you need to find something else to say to convince people, or prove it. You know, how is it going to do that? There are myriad of projects that have never been proven, and the same thing is going on with the idea of the event center, one that the county has come up with, convention center, excuse me. Lincoln at this time is flush with money from COVID, from the feds. Why isn't that being used for this? With the federal government in the situation that it is, it would be reasonable and kind and honorable to return some of that money to the federal government. Now, maybe that's an ideal, and that's why you want to hang on to it. But then give it to the people. Let them have lower property taxes. It just seems like there's a lot of greed here. There's a lot of me, and what I want, and not what is fiscally sound. You know, it's a lovely idea. There's no doubt about that. But people have a lot of lovely ideas that they can't afford or that they misuse their money about. And so we would call for more prudence in this matter. Maybe you need to wait until this other money is raised before you hand this money over. You almost wonder if when you gave them money before, that they've come back with their hands open again. Anyway, we have great concerns about the finances and how they're handled and the transparency to the community and to fiscal accountability and good sense.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak on this item? Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Brad Corral. I'm on the board of the Lincoln Youth Complex. Our board chair, Charlie Colon, was to be here today, and he ended up having to get called away this morning. So I'm appearing on behalf of the LYC board. But I would like to say on behalf of the board and Charlie how much we appreciate the JPA considering this request. The JPA was there at the beginning. ARPA money was used from the city and the county to help with this project, and so the JPA helped us launch this project. We would not be here without the support of the team, Chris Connolly, Lynn Heaton, and Riley Slezak, who has helped us put together and craft the terms of the agreement, and we're very fortunate for that. And I'd like to thank Mayor Larry and Gayla Baird for your help. Public-private partnerships are hard. They are difficult, and this project has been no exception. And without the mayor's steadfast support, we would not be here today. And this dates back at least to 2018 or 19, and because of the mayor's support and the JPA support is why we're here, and we're very grateful for that support. Thank you.
I'm Joel Peterson. I'm legal counsel for Lincoln Youth Complex. I also have a picture, but this makes the connection, and we'll show you the JPA's project area. So Pinnacle Bank Arena is here. We have West Haymarket, or the Haymarket Ballpark. Our project is here in First and Cornhusker. That's just the boundaries. So that connection is strong. It's been enduring, and it's important for the team. And that's not just the team at Lincoln Youth Complex. As mentioned, it includes JPA, the broader community in this public-private partnership, and the transformative opportunity that this project presents. So we are very grateful for your support. We continue to welcome all the help we can get. It will take more effort to get to the finish line, but as Regent Claire knows, I'm one for getting done on time and on budget.
Thank you. Are there any others who'd like to speak on this item? Okay, if not, I'd take a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Claire, second by Beckius. Any further discussion among the members?
Nope.
Well, I'll just say that we're really pleased to be arriving in this moment where we can move forward and that much closer to the finish line. And this is going to be not only a top flight amenity for youth, for Wesleyan, for Homer's Heroes, for children all across our community, but for those who will come and visit and stay in our hotels and eat in our restaurants and shop in our stores. So it is not just an amenity, it's an asset. Thank you for your work to help make it a reality. We're very grateful for the public-private partnership that's helping get this done. All right, please call the roll.
Claire,
Yes.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes.
Beckius.
Yes.
Motion carried, 3-0. The next meeting date will be held April 25th, 2024 at 2:30 PM here in council chambers.
Okay. Could I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, moved by Claire, second by Beckius. Please call the roll.
Claire,
Yes.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes.
Beckius.
Yes.
All right. We are adjourned. Thank you.